We are brought to you in part by the Union Street in Berwick, Nova Scotia. Recorded live here in the Annapolis Valley, this podcast is lucky enough to be on the stage of one of the country's best venues and restaurants. It has a long, lovely history of being family-owned, even has its own best-selling cookbook. Holy frig, that's unique. And did I mention it's an incredible venue? Like the best sound for your money anywhere. Suck it, Massey Hall. I said it, but that's me, not Union Street saying that. Back to them. They're incredible. Come there sometime. Come down sometime. I'll probably be there at the end of the bar talking about Massey Hall. Let's chat. Okay, successful sponsor ad, right? Welcome, one and all, to episode 7 of The Friendly Heckler. I'm your host, Zakary Miller, again. By now we know a little bit about each other. I mean, about me, you know that I enjoy being silly, pretty honest, maybe a little loud, and I don't know anything about you, so you gotta email me and tell me what's up, where you listening from, what's going on out there. Email me at thefriendlyheckler@gmail.com. Find me on Instagram, Friendly Heckler Podcast. I'm on the Facebook thing. I don't like those companies, but I'll say it. I have to, just to get the word out there, because this podcast is actually about the artists, not the following and the getting out there. It's about the people I'm having on the show. So I want you to tell everybody about this show, too, so that we can get the word out about these people. You have to send emails to random email addresses. Just make one up. Then just put in a subject line that says, listen to this. Maybe the email is just a link to this show and it just says, please enjoy this show as you've just been friendly heckled. I think that'll catch on. I think it'll go viral. So try it on your friends and family before strangers. I've run out of friends and family, so I'm just jumping right to the strangers. That's what happens. I'm going to take friendly heckling even to the next level because I recently emailed Starbucks because they put in a corporate grocer Starbucks situation at my local corporate grocer. And we weren't allowed to tip the staff, which makes no sense to me. So I jumped on it. I emailed Starbucks as the friendly heckler, and I told them I should be able to tip the staff. It should change. So we got to go in there and find out if that's changed. And I'm even going to start rallies against Value Village for price gouging and get a bunch of musicians on them. And then hopefully that'll go national. So let's do this, friends. Let's friendly heckle the world. More info and all that to come. But just follow me online. Just find out what we're doing as we're doing it. We got lots of live recording announcements coming up soon, too. So keep an eye out for those because there is some awesome artists lined up and some big announcements coming this summer. Which brings me to my guest this month. It's Kim Joy Lake, friends. Have you heard of Kim Joy Lake? If not, I can't wait for you to hear because we had a great evening on stage. I learned so much about her. I already knew a little bit because we've been friends for a couple of years now, but she just brings so much to her community, to the music scene, on and off stage. What a lovely person. And she's living down in Avondale, Nova Scotia, so I definitely wanted to talk about Avondale because it's got such a unique vibe in this province. And we just talk about the tides, you know, what they do for her. There's so much. So here is my hang with Kim, her incredible tunes, and a pretty interactive table sitting right up front. Enjoy.
Kim Joy Lake.
Wow, I'm liking table 1 over here. And table 2.
We'll behave.
Oh, behave, table 1.
This one's for the sick and tired, the grim and dire, left behind. You've been bent and you've been broken, you've been run round this whole town, where they traded out sin for oil and left the soil to the weeds.
burn their pride, beg their pardons. Promises don't mean a thing. We're one, and we are many, and together we'll draw the line. We'll draw grace and stake your freedom. Hearts of gold are meant to shine. Now the fin and guild are choking on the ocean filled with greed, and you've been blessed with time for nothing, but nothing ever comes for free. We are one, and we are many, and together we'll draw the line. We'll draw grace and stake your freedom. Hearts of gold are meant to shine. Houses empty and shutters blowing, hope lays corked up on the shelf. So rid yourselves of cups half empty and take a stand for someone else. We are one, and we are many, and together we'll draw the line. We'll draw grace and stake your freedom. Hearts of gold are meant to shine. Shine.
Great tune to start with. Wow. What's that called?
That is called Left Behind.
That's not on Flesh and Bone, your album that you released, is it?
It's not. It was going to be.
Oh, but it got left
Potentially,
behind.
but it got left behind. I thought it was very apropos.
Zing. Wow, nice.
No, the weirdest things kept happening with that tune. I would record the demos and then send all the demos off to the person who was helping me record. And this one, for whatever reason, would not make the cut. Then I printed all the lyrics out for the band and would bring them to the band, and for whatever reason, the lyrics to this song would be left out of the pile.
Wow.
And I just thought, I think it's maybe not meant to be on the album.
No, it's such a powerful song. It's like such a protest song to me. It's a really strong song to start with.
Thank you.
It says a lot about you. It says a lot about your rebellious spirit to me.
I love that you see that in me. I feel seen.
I can hear it. I can hear it in the songs for sure. Anyway, hello, Kim.
Hi, Zach.
Kimberly Joy Lake. Where are you from? This is a long, I know by way of, right? Like a few times over?
Yeah, I grew up in Ontario. Don't hate me, I know. I split my childhood between a couple of different towns in the GTA around Toronto.
Right.
So I was born in Stouffville on Church Street. It was a lovely community street, lots of
Nice.
kids out playing. There was a field at the end of the road where everyone congregated. It was a lovely, lovely time. And then my family actually moved to Australia for a couple of years.
Holy, I didn't know that about you. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, my dad was transferred there for work for 2 years when I was 8 years old. So we lived outside of Melbourne for 2 years, and then we moved back to Ontario, and we moved to Aurora,
Right? Yep. Hey.
the town of Aurora, where I spent my middle school and high school years.
The formative years.
The formative
in
years.
Aurora.
Yeah. And then, yeah.
And then weren't you in the Northwest Territories at some point too?
I eventually ended up in the Northwest Territories.
Oh my God, you have lived more places than anyone I know. I made fun of Graham for having traveled this country, Graham Nicholas for having traveled this country so much, but wow, you've lived it.
I mean, yes.
Do you feel like
I've been in places, but
Do you feel like you're from all over though? When people ask you where you're from, you're like, oh man, it's 7 places, not just
I guess
one.
I don't so much feel like home for me is Ontario anymore. So when I
Right.
get asked where am I from, it is a tough question because I don't feel my heart is in Ontario anymore. Sorry, Mom and Dad.
yeah, that's
Love
okay.
you. I love you. I love being all over the place, and especially now, I definitely consider Nova Scotia home.
Absolutely, and I think everyone in Ontario, once they can afford to, they generally move away. And then, and everybody in Nova Scotia tries to go to Ontario to make money, and then everybody in Ontario goes out west. And there's the great Canadian exchange. It's just how it works to me.
Yeah, you got to follow the money.
Yeah, as greasy as that sentiment is, and as much as I loathe the capitalism of it all, I'll agree with you on that. And you did
No.
follow the money, and you
That's
ended
not
up
why we're
here.
in Nova Scotia.
No, we followed the beauty.
We followed the beauty and we followed the family. My husband is from Nova Scotia.
So you followed your heart.
I followed my heart.
Now, you have a sweetie for a husband. I will say that. I don't think I've ever said his name on air.
Feel free, it's not a secret.
It's Devin. Devin's a sweetie, and I can't wait to have him on the show at some point. But yeah, you're lucky. You got a real sweet family, too, eh?
Yeah, we moved right to where he grew up, actually. So you mentioned I live in Avondale, and that's where he grew up. That's where his parents still live.
We have some Avondale people in the house tonight?
Woo!
Yeah, wow. Thank you for coming all this way. For those of you listening in the podcast world, Avondale is a beautiful little community. It's sort of tucked, like, I guess the basin goes in and then forms into a bunch of different rivers, right? One of those being the Avondale River?
Yeah, the Avon River.
The Avon River,
is
sorry.
an
Oof,
arm
learning.
of the Minas Basin.
And it's really tucked in. It's so beautiful. So if you're listening out in the world, Google Avondale right now, and then just enjoy your next 25 minutes of Google Google images on maps.
It's a really lovely community. Although before I moved there, Devin was telling me about how beautiful it was. And when I got there, it was this brown river. And I didn't get it initially. I was like, it's just a muddy river. It's not.
This is what the blues
It's
are
not
about.
obviously beautiful to those who first see it, possibly. But I definitely see the beauty in it now. And
Right.
it being one of the arms of the Minas Basin, too, it has the full tide. So we
The full
see
what?
the full tides every day, all day, and that is very powerful in itself.
Do you live by the tide? Do you sort of like, do your emotions roll with the tide?
They really do.
Wow. Yeah, I feel
Actually,
that too.
yeah. We had the privilege of being able to build a home. So our house has 2 big windows that look right at the river. And been at home a lot lately the past few years.
Why? Why is that?
You haven't?
Why
you
are you
haven't
such a homebody the past
Yeah.
3 years? Jeez.
But it's kind of a blessing where we are. I love being at home. But yeah, just see the tides all day, and I definitely feel their fluctuations. It reminds me that everything is constantly changing. It's
Yeah.
a good lesson, actually.
Is that, do you find the tide stressful in that way? That, like, because they're so massive, too, in Nova Scotia, because they can move boulders the size of Texas, let's say. It's always the size of Texas. Everything has to be the size of Texas. But because the tide's so intense, too, it can be really, like, kind of terrifying in the wintertime or in storms, let's say. Like, I guess you guys are tucked far enough in the basin you don't get it. But does it affect you? Do the storms affect you?
I mean, I don't know that they affect us more than anyone else in particular, but the tides definitely freak me out. Like, going out, I see people walking out into the middle of the river at low tide. And I feel nervous for them. Like, you hear stories of people from ages ago literally getting swept away by the tides. So they're not something to mess around with, but...
This is why? They're so beautiful and they're so calming.
Yeah.
They're so terrifying. Why is
Water is not a force to mess with. But if you know the right time, like with Devon's family, they've been there for years, and there is wisdom in the community. So if you know the right time to go out, you can go out. If you're paddling, right before high tide is the time to go.
Okay.
You get carried gently this way, and then the tides turn and you get carried gently that way.
Okay.
And then you get off the water.
Then you go home, and then you have supper.
Then you go home. Mudsliding?
Yeah,
I don't
you
know
guys
if
are
that's
big about the
something you've ever
mudsliding in
tried.
Avondale. No, I can't do it because I'm so scared of hitting a rock.
Yeah, fair enough. But again, if you know when to go, that's an activity that people enjoy at the river, which is literally what it sounds like. You go down the muddy banks and find
Belly first.
hopefully a spot with not so many rocks.
Everyone else seems to have great success. I just know that I'll be the one that...
You should get Devon to take you sometime.
I'll let him go first. And
Yeah.
carve the path. Yeah. Okay.
We actually had a friend come out who's a professional surfer, and he brought a surfboard and was surfing down the mud flats. So that could be another
Wow.
route to go if you're scared of getting cut.
I might just start selling the surfboards at the edge of the edge of the
There you
river.
go.
I'll open up the business every Full Circle festival. June comes around, I'm selling surfboards.
There you go.
I wanted to ask you to play a song. I've been thinking a lot about this song, and actually talking about the tides makes me think about it because I find it so peaceful. You wrote a song called "Move Still," and this song has brought me a lot of peace in times where I've needed to move still, but I can't stop moving. And why did you write it? I heard you once sort of introduce it, and it really gave me some insight into your writing style. But why did you write it?
Well, first of all, I'm glad that it has brought you peace,
Big time.
because I did write it during a time when I myself was not feeling very peaceful. Anxiety is something that I could cope with, as I'm sure many people do, especially the last little while. Things have been heightened.
Why is that?
We could go deep on that or just keep it surface level for a little while. But yeah, I wrote this during a time when I was feeling a little bit more off kilter than typical. But I was looking out my window at the clouds, and it just got me thinking about, the things that do help me keep still. And I'm an occupational therapist. I'll throw that out there. And something that I've learned through that role is that what we do with our time, how we spend our time, can help us, can impact, our emotions and how we feel. So, the idea of moving, not necessarily physically, although that does help me, but just keeping your mind moving and doing different things as a way of kind of stilling the mind was where this song came from.
Nice to take a breath before getting into it, actually. Because is it a meditation for you, sort of, when you play it? Is it a reminder for yourself to?
I guess it hasn't been as of late, but I should probably start thinking of that way again. But I have heard from a few people that this song has had that impact on them too, so it's pretty cool to hear that feedback.
Please cozy the world with this song.
Clouds roll as I dream about what they're made of. The river cries in rain upon my window as I lay back down. Trust that you come for me. Anytime you need. So go on, get up off your knees. We've had enough of all of that. Body still, mind racing. Body move, mind still. You can't be what you can't see. Hanging wishes on a tree, doing its best just like me. Body still, mind racing. Body move, mind still. Body still, mind racing. Body move, mind still.
So good. So good. Your voice sounds so good on that, Kim. It's amazing.
Thanks, Zach.
Powerful, powerful songwriting. And again, it's so soothing. It's a perfect antidote. It's to a stressful tide, maybe to a stressful day. So that is on your record, Flesh and Bone.
It is, yeah.
That is right to the flesh of it all to me. That's like, because there is some, I think that's the third song on the record.
Yeah, you've been doing your research.
Well, I generally don't. Usually I'm cold, but I know your record pretty well, actually. I feel like I bought it not long after it came out, 2021.
Yeah.
But yeah, it starts out with a couple rockin' tunes, and then that song comes in. It felt so sneaky to put it third. But that record kind of covers a lot of bases for you, though. You get to rock out, and you get to be gentle. You feel like it was a good introduction record for you? Is there more you wanted to do with it?
I mean, I'll just preface it by saying I never really had big dreams of making a record at all.
What?
I think partly the pandemic, well, definitely the pandemic, encouraged the making of that. I did have some ideas around wanting to make a record, mostly just as a way of sharing songs with my kids.
Wow, okay, really?
I'll say that my father-in-law was inspiration for wanting to make a record. He's a musician himself, and we have a CD that he made with his band.
Sweet. What are they
from
called?
like 20 years ago, the Wharf Rats.
Nice. Oh, don't they still play?
That's a
No.
different Wharf
Okay.
Rats.
Oh.
Although they do play sometimes by special request.
Okay, yeah, I'll get them on the show.
But yeah, no, we had a Wharf Rats record in our car that the kids listened to and sang along to all the time. And
Cool.
that was inspiration for me for wanting to make a record, to be like, maybe someday I'll have grandkids that sing along to my songs.
Wow, that's a good way to look at it. Yeah.
And just so someday my kids will maybe think that I'm cool.
they must already think that. You guys are such cool parents.
But really, I had no concept of what it meant to make a record. I didn't have a vision in my mind around what that would look like, but the pandemic forcing us to stay home and kind of slow down gave me space to think about that. And my dear friend Jesse, who plays many instruments on the record, Jesse Griffith.
One of those wizards of strings.
He's a fabulous wizard of strings and also just an incredible human and friend. So he was really encouraging of like, we've got the time now. Let's make it happen.
Wow, cool.
So yeah, I kind of followed a fairly grassroots path where I didn't have a big vision in my mind going into it, what it was going to turn into. And
Were you already sitting on the tunes, or?
I had a number of the tunes written. The title track, Flesh and Bone, actually I wrote as we were going into recording, so I hadn't written that one yet, but a number of the tunes I had written already. But yeah, in terms of like the rockin' versus the quiet, I think the energy of that time kind of took on more of a rockin' feel.
Okay.
Like we had lots of energy to expel, so we met with the band in like the garage of our home. It's an old barn, and it was the middle of July. Like everyone was sweating, practicing the song. So it just kind of had a little bit more of a rock and roll feel at the time. So
There's something about the basin too, like the music that comes out of areas around the basin. I feel like there's this really like swampy, rocky edge to a lot of the artists who are based around there.
yeah,
There's something to it. I'm serious. There's mud in the music. I'm telling you. And it's good. It's a good mud. It's a healthy mud.
it's a good theory. And yeah.
I could go on about those kind of
I think
theories.
it's the
but-
raspberries too. There's like,
Are they poisoning the music? What's going on?
no, they make everything just extra juicy.
Oh, yeah. A little tart.
Little tart,
You-
yeah.
you tardy
Not too
bastards.
sweet. Yeah.
That's true. It's a wicked edge, and you have such a wicked group of musicians on that album. You give Jesse a lot of room to rip.
He needs it.
he does. His brain travels to notes like I've never heard any guitarist kind of travel around a neck like that. I feel like he's honestly exploring the universe on stage or in a recording. It's fascinating. But you also had Gina Burgess play some fiddle on that record, right?
I did. That was the first time I'd ever met Gina. And
Really? Is it in recording?
Yeah.
Cool.
It was super cool, and she's since become a dear friend.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, she is an incredible musician. Charles Austin was doing our recording, and I didn't fully, since I'm not from Nova Scotia, really fully appreciate how incredible just that was.
Like how many
Like
records he's worked on.
Yeah, a Nova Scotia legend. So he did some of the recording for us, and then my good friend Tony Wood was playing the bass, who's another incredible musician.
Melodic, funky bass lines Tony's known for.
Yeah, and Jordan Murphy was playing the drums, who also just took things up a level.
It's a great crew. It's such a great crew. For a first record, man, you came at the door swinging.
Again, though, I had no vision, so I felt very much like a newbie through the whole process.
Did you
But
feel
it was a lot
like
of fun.
Did you feel like 2021 was still a hard time to release a record? Like I tried to release a record April 2020, and it felt like pushing a rock up a hill, and it has for the past 3 years in a way. But do you feel like pandemic? It was still in the midst of it, or did you feel like no, this is the perfect time? People needed to hear this and rock out a bit.
Yes.
Good answer.
Again, I think because I had no intentions for the album, it didn't feel that hard for me. I was just really excited to get the tunes out, and as a byproduct of people being stuck at home, there was time to listen to it. So it also felt kind of like a way of connecting with people that I wasn't able to see. You know, I could my family was all listening to it, and friends that I wasn't able to see. It was a way to kind of connect with people during that time.
Yeah.
I didn't have plans to like tour with it or anything, so it didn't feel.
I know, because you're still kind of putting a band together for shows, and it's still kind of like shows is a new world for you, even, right?
It is, yeah.
But you've been behind the scenes, like booking artists and helping artists raise money and helping work festivals. Like, you've done a lot behind the scenes already, haven't you?
I've done some things.
What does that entail? That sounds like you're trying
I
to
think
avoid
I really
talking about
value music and sharing music and what things like you're doing, making music something that people can engage with. But sharing my own music has definitely been an obstacle to overcome. I didn't used to share my songs at all. I wrote music in university and I just played for myself. I actually had a boyfriend at the time. I'd be playing in my room and he'd walk in and I'd stop playing and he was like, "What is wrong with you? Like, how come you never let me play or never let me hear you play?" And this was a huge red flag. He was probably very wise to get out of that relationship. But I'd be like, it's too vulnerable. Like, if I share that piece of me, you'll know everything about me.
I love that you said it was a red flag for him. Shouldn't it be a red flag for you that you can't share it with him? Shouldn't there be something?
Yeah.
There's something fundamentally wrong with that dude.
Yeah.
No offense to wherever he is or whoever he is now. I probably... Whoops.
No, just sharing music has always felt very vulnerable and not something that I have always felt the urge to do. So it's still something that, unless I'm specifically asked or feel really called to book a show, it's not something that I'm actively trying to do a whole lot of, because I do like being behind the scenes. I like creating spaces for other artists to share music. And
when did you even first pick up an instrument then and then start using it as personal therapy like this?
Well, I grew up playing piano.
Ooh, there's a piano on stage tonight. Just kidding. I won't make you do that.
And
For Elise.
I had a great aunt who always knew when I was mad at my brother, because
That was really...
she said if she came over and I was playing the piano, she knew I was mad at my brother.
What's the go-to anger song then when you're a kid?
Ooh, I had a 90s cover sheet music book.
Oh, okay.
So
See, I pictured you like jamming out Beethoven's Ninth, like so angry.
There might have been some classical tunes too, but yeah,
But
no 90s like
songbook?
Yeah, like "Kissed by a Rose" and.
Oh snap! You could play "Kiss by a Rose" on piano. Still got it?
I might.
Oh, I can't wait. That's episode 2. We'll do that in the next episode of the podcast. I will request that. Good song to have in your back pocket. For those of you listening that don't know Kiss by a Rose, go Google Seal right now and have your life changed. Were you obsessed with Seal at all otherwise, or just that song?
Just that song, I think. Yeah.
Well, not that I said you're obsessed with Seal, but 90s songbook. That's amazing that's what you knew on piano. Any Disney songs or anything like that?
I had the Lion King soundtrack book.
Wow. So now I'm picturing you angry at your brother upstairs playing.
Circle of life.
Yeah. Can you feel the love tonight?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, she's angry.
That's as
again.
angry as I got.
And it still is, I feel like, because you rock out. Well, I don't want to get you angry just to find out, but I feel like when you rock out, it's still very therapeutic and very safe and very calming. Like if you're angry, you're actually calming somebody else down. That's the vibe I get from you.
I think music's a really powerful tool for moving energy. It's definitely part of why I write music and play music is to not put holes in walls.
That's why we all do it, folks. If we weren't up here right now, we'd be at home fixing all of our walls.
There's a song lyric in there somewhere. I like it.
Oh, that's a good call, actually. It's a sad country song, but patching drywall.
Yeah. It's hard to find people to patch drywall these days, too, so.
That's gross work. Let's not talk about drywall tonight. Let's get back to the music. Do you want to choose one? I want you to choose a song that you want to share with me.
All right. Since I'm just here by myself I'm going to play a few more of the quieter tunes, if that's okay.
Yes.
This one is about the idea of kind of trying on a few different lives before settling on one that you feel good about.
Whoa.
It's called Sailor's Wife. How does it go?
I used to be a sailor's wife, and I sailed his every ocean blue, and I rode his tides and his red-skied nights, but a sailing life will never do. And I used to be a farmer's wife, and his soul I tilled with care, but his screams and golds and stories untold left me with nothing to bear. Then I found you, and you took me for a ride. You hugged my curves, geared up my nerve to take this road for life. I'll take this road for life. I used to be a soldier's wife, and I marched his thin red line, but I'll wave my flag with nothing to save. A hero's life never was mine, so I found you, and you took me for a ride. You hugged my curves, geared up my nerve to take this road for life. I'll take this road for life. I used to dream of solitude, an island in the rough, but you broke my skin, brought out the end. Lonely is never enough. No, lonely is never enough. So I found you, and you took me for a ride. You hugged my curves, my nerve to take this road for life. I'll take this road for life.
Dang. Nice ending. What a beautiful melody. My God. Where does a song like that come from? Like, is there anyone else that you heard that you were like, oh, that's close to as good as my song, but...
I will say that song was inspired by my husband.
Wow.
I initially wanted to write a song about a pedal-footed cowboy. He rode his bike everywhere in in Yellowknife. When we lived in Yellowknife, of all places, he would ride his bike everywhere. So I had this idea of a pedal-footed cowboy, and then that didn't make it into the song. It turned into something else. But that idea of being on a road, and it was inspired by him.
Taking that road for life together.
Taking that road for life.
Wow. Yes. That I didn't even ask them to clap like that. They did that on their own. That was beautiful.
That felt really nice.
I know you should. That felt really nice. I love seeing artists actually express joy thanks to audiences actually clapping. Because I've seen a lot of artists play gigs where there's no one clapping, and you can see by the second set they're just sort of like, everything is eating away at my soul right now, and I'm not sure if I can make it through this Johnny Cash cover. I might be projecting a bit, but seeing an artist genuinely take praise is lovely. Your heart was very warm there. That was nice. Tell me about Northwest Territories. Like, how did you, is that where you met Devin, actually?
I did not meet him up there. I followed him up there.
Whoa, okay.
He is a planner, a town planner, and got a job working up there in Yellowknife. And when he told me that, I thought he was leaving me. I said, well, if you're going there, then there must be no future for us, because I didn't understand the magic of the North. I just thought he was moving to the other side of the country without me.
Right. Where were you guys at the time? Sorry.
I had first moved to Sault Ste. Marie. I got a job up there in Northern Ontario.
Cool.
Prior to that, we had been in Kingston together, both doing our grad school studies.
Oh, okay.
And then, he got a job in Yellowknife and invited me to go up and visit. And as soon as I landed, I fell in love with the North. It's a really, really magical place. Then I moved up there shortly afterwards.
I can feel the North in your songwriting, too. How do you feel like it's influenced your songwriting?
I'd say the North is the first place where I really felt inspired to share my songs. There's a really creative energy up there. There's a lot of people staying out till 4 a.m. and jamming, and that was really the first place where I had been introduced to a jam scene at all.
Okay,
so
some
people
serious midnight sun energy.
Midnight, and the opposite, like dark winters. A lot of music would fill the void.
Any particular? Was there like an open mic scene at a particular bar that you remember going to, or?
No, it was mostly people's homes.
Wow.
There's a houseboat community. I don't know if anyone's been up to Yellowknife before, but there's a community of houseboats. So that was often where a lot of the jams took place, which just added a whole nother kind of magical element.
Cold living in a houseboat in Northwest Territories in Yellowknife?
Firewood keeps everything toasty.
Wow, and even on a houseboat, that's amazing.
Yeah, everyone's off grid, so a lot of fires. But yeah, that kind of survival energy just permeated everywhere. So there was a lot of like really rough characters, people who are looking for adventure, a lot of creatives, like I said. And kind of the first place where I was really inspired to kind of put myself out there as a musician. I used to be, like I said, it was something that I did for myself, and then I would kind of see other people playing and be like, why do they get to play? And
Yeah,
wait,
yeah.
I just need to do it. And then I can also get to play. So that was the first place that kind of brought that side out of me, I guess.
Do you get that same feeling from writing and like creating the song and getting it out of your system? Do you get that same feeling live from giving it to a crowd?
I think I do.
You don't have to feel pressure because they're sitting there. Hold on.
I mean-
Hold on. Ignore them for a second. I'm standing in front of Kim and blocking the audience. Do you get the same feeling?
I really do. Like I've been saying, it's not something I get to do a whole lot of. So it used to be something that freaked me right out. Like
Right.
before my first show, first few shows actually, I would not sleep the night before.
Oh, wow. So you went into those tired, wired...
Oh, just in a different zone completely.
Cool.
I would be,
Wow.
literally having no sleep.
I got to try that sometime.
I don't recommend it. I don't remember any of them.
Dude, that's great. Get it out of the way.
So it used to be something that make me really, really nervous, but now it is something that I do appreciate. Mostly when people invite me, like I say, I'm not great at putting myself out there, but when people have heard my music and then ask to come hear it makes me feel like they mean it.
Oh,
So-
yes, yeah. Not hunting for gigs desperately every weekend. That's...
I mean, to
It's a
each their
different
own,
lifestyle.
yeah.
I don't think there's anything very good feeling about that. That's not the same level of, like, reward and relationship, I feel like. There's a desperation in there.
Some people get just great pleasure out of that, though. I think playing for people generally. Where for me, it has to be more the right setting. I need to kind of have an idea of who's going to be there, what the vibe's going to be.
Oh, ahead of time.
A little bit.
Really? Did you? I could have sent you the guest list for tonight if you wanted to know everybody who's in the room. I feel like you do know everybody in the room, though.
I don't know Table 1.
Oh, but Table 1 loves you. Yeah. Table 1 loves you, Kim. You've made quite the impression tonight already.
Aw.
I want to request another song from you, though.
Okay.
And I think this is a feel-good song to me. I would like you to play Honey and Rain.
Okay.
I remember when I saw you, maybe it was the second time I saw you play, and I asked you if you were going to play a certain song, and you kind of looked at me and you were like, is it Honey and Rain? Is that the song you're thinking of? Everybody wants me to play Honey and Rain. And I felt like you were almost sick of me asking you. But
I'm sorry I was so rude to you.
No, of course I'm exaggerating the situation. You weren't as rude as I am all the time. But I'm digging myself a hole because I'm trying to say that I'm rude, but it makes it sound like I'm saying you're rude. What I would like you to play is Honey and Rain, though. And you were very nice about it. It just seemed like a lot of people requested this song of you early on in your career.
Yeah, it was probably like 2 people, which felt like a lot to me.
2 out of 2 shows, though.
Exactly.
That's 100%. Please.
All right.
I'll love you to the moon, I'll love you back. I'll love you for the parts you say you lack, and I'll be in your dreams if you'll be in mine too. Everything is better with you. So move on, little black rain cloud. Pay no attention to me. Move on, little black rain cloud. My honey. Wonder what it is you are doing. Wish I was doing it too. It's the littlest things that fill my heart. I need a little less what, a little more who. So hold on to these moments. Whatever you need to get through. And remember you're brave, and you're strong, and you're smart. And all my best days are with you. So move on, little black rain cloud. Pay no attention to me. Move on, little black rain cloud. My honey's waiting for me. My honey's waiting for me.
If there's any little black rain clouds in the house, they've surely moved on.
Move along.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. You have such a way with emotion. You guide it through a song. It's very it's new to me. I've never sat on stage with somebody who I feel like is moving through the song like that. You know, I feel like a lot of artists kind of have get in the headspace, remember the lyrics, remember the chords. At least for me, for sure. It's like sometimes it's just getting through the motions. But yeah, I feel like you're working the song beautifully.
Thanks. And I think that goes back to my last comment about needing to feel like I know what I'm getting into ahead of time, because it is a vulnerable thing.
Yeah.
So thank you for being so kind.
Great audience. Great audience. And you said you're playing at the stage at St. Andrews pretty soon.
Yeah, so the stage at St. Andrews is doing lots of great work and hosting some incredible shows, and they're featuring female or female-identifying artists for several months in a row.
It's been amazing.
And
it's been like a year.
yeah.
Right?
So, and this was a series that was initiated in 2001, and then shows kept getting canceled because of the thing that shall not be named.
What is that exactly? Sorry, I'm just going to keep making that joke.
But anyways, I think it's finally going to happen in April. So yeah, I'm really excited to play in that space. It's an old church that's been, or it still is a functioning and operating church too, but they also have a music venue. So I'm really excited to sing in that space.
Yeah, I can't. I want to hear recordings of your voice down there. That, like, in a room like that, not that this isn't a church. This is a church in its own right. But, wow, yeah, your voice in a church like that would be so amazing. Are you just doing it solo, or are you doing it with Jesse?
Jesse will come with me.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. Again, Jesse Griffith.
It's in Halifax. I don't know exactly the address, but if you look up
Yes, the stage at St. Andrews.
stage at St. Andrews.
Halifax.
Yeah.
That's your best bet. And then, are you going to do any festivals or anything this summer? Do you have anything else booked?
I haven't applied to anything.
Because they haven't told you who's going to be there yet.
Yeah, they haven't reached out to me and asked me to play. So no, I haven't applied to play.
I mean, you're so busy. Like I feel like I barely know you, but generally, whenever I've caught up with you, I do feel like there's a million things to catch up on. Like, what's your new job? Even you've mentioned occupational therapy, but specifically, who are you working with? If you don't mind me asking, who are you working with, Kim?
Well, yeah, and to the point about booking shows, like there are just so many things that I enjoy doing. So that's one thing that I sometimes make time for. But yeah, I'm currently working with Autism Nova Scotia, who are a wonderful organization, and they've just introduced a program that's been moved across the province called Quick Start. So it's a program for really little ones who are either newly diagnosed with autism or suspected to have autism. And yeah, I get to work on a team with a lovely group of people, a speech therapist, and a parent coach, and it supports families through their early journey with autism. And
you're the team working with the entire province?
I mean, no, I work in the western zone.
Okay.
So that's a huge zone, but there's a number of other teams across the province doing something similar.
That's amazing. Congratulations on a great gig.
Thanks. Yeah, it feels really like integral work that needs there to be a lot more of in our area. There's 1 in 34 kids who are being diagnosed with autism in Nova Scotia, which is the highest rate in any other province in Canada.
And that's among newborns now.
Yep, children who are, I don't know, it's probably not newborns, because usually they're older when they get a diagnosis.
Right,
but
right,
one
but
in
that's
1 in
the past,
36
like, 10
kids,
years.
yeah.
Wow.
So there's a huge need for supports, and yeah, I mean, lots of people need support for lots of different things, but it's nice to see little expansions coming down the road.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, even just the advancement of the spectrum and diagnosing the spectrum and assessing the spectrum across the board for people of all ages. It's been amazing to see that research kind of open up recently. So knowing that there's money going into diagnosing really early and then creating structured programs within the province, like, oh, that's so heartwarming to know that there's money going to the right places for once. In healthcare, at least, you know? That's awesome. It's nice to see the money spent on somebody wonderful, too, working the job. So, thank you.
Can music reach them? That's a good question. I know within Autism Nova Scotia, actually, so it's technically actually, I don't know if it's a not-for-profit. I think it's a not-for-profit, but they have to access funding. But then they have lots of freedom with the programs that they're able to introduce, and there have been music programs that have been introduced lately with music therapists and other artists, and I think those are great initiatives. Ooh.
Yeah, true. Because you don't really... What is your background in educationally? What is your background?
You're kind of bringing up a little bit of a sore spot, because I wanted to be a music therapist.
Oh, that's what I wondered. But you can kind of cross over. I mean, music therapy, it's so interesting because when it started, it wasn't institutionalized the way it is now. It was a foundation within Canada that was specifically for reaching kids with autism or people who needed assistance with music. And now it is institutionalized, and now you need a degree to practice it, which is strange, but I'm sure that's necessary. But you could definitely cross over. I mean, it's part of your gig anyway, in a way.
Yeah, and thanks for the little push, because that is something that I dream about.
I was actually thinking when you were playing Body Still, or Move Still, I was thinking, oh man, they should put this in every yoga class. Like, you should have to listen to Move Still while you're doing yoga every day. Start your daily practice with Move Still. And now we're going to lie back and listen to some Kim Joy Lake. It's very calming.
Yeah, the brain is really fascinating, and there's a lot of, constant research coming out around how it operates, how it works, but even just rhythm, like having a metronome in the background of a therapy session can be shown to be effective in helping with certain outcomes just by having that rhythm going.
Really? What
the
tempo?
Body is good question. It probably varies for each person. Some people might need it.
Depends on the therapist, I guess. Some
Yeah.
therapists are like, this appointment needs to be over in half an hour, so I'm going to set it 120. And our time is up. Yeah. Seriously, it must be pretty slow, though, because I would find that almost torturous, actually.
Yeah, I think it's just more the rhythmicity, like the steadiness of it that helps to regulate some systems.
I'm sorry, I have to tell this story. Once when I was in Cuba, I was at a school, and the school had 2 levels, and there was a lot of open doors on the second level, and I could just hear a drum going exactly like that. Kak, 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 kak. And it was kind of freaking us out. So we walked around the school, and we found the drum sound, and we walked to the end of this long hallway, and in this open doorway in this small room was just a boy and a snare drum, and that was him practicing. And I swear he hit that same rhythm probably perfectly in time, no metronome, for 25 minutes straight. I'd never seen anybody practice that much,
Wow.
let alone a 4-year-old kid with better time and rhythm than I'll ever have in my life.
Wow.
It was amazing, but that's like diligent. Talk about practice. Do you practice?
I wish I practiced more with a drum, actually, because that's one thing I realized when I started playing with a band was that my rhythm is horrible, actually.
Like a lot of songwriters, though.
Yeah, like I write with feeling, like you say, so I kind of follow the flow. But when I try to play with a band, and drummers specifically, they're kind of looking at me.
You don't write out your music for them and go like, Adagio, Vivante.
No.
Okay.
So my goal is if I put out a new record with a band, I want to practice my tunes with
I had it, right.
a click track or
Did you
something.
guys kind of go into the studio for the last one kind of cold and then just rehearse in the studio and figure it out then? Or was there much pre-production?
Well, we rehearsed in my barn, like I
Yeah.
mentioned, once or twice, and then we went into the studio.
That's
and
amazing.
recorded mostly all the rhythm off the floor.
Great job. Wow. I love spontaneity in recording sessions. I feel like that brings a lot more than over-rehearsed.
It feels. My cousin, who's an excellent musician, he has a band called Jaunt. Check it out. They're from Toronto. They go through the whole production routine of making albums, and they sound amazing. But he listened to my album. He's like, "Yeah, it sounds great. I really love the live sound of it."
Right, yeah,
Which kind of felt like a bit of a jab, but
Yeah.
also he was being authentic. But it's definitely not like a produced album by any means.
Oh, it is. God. What does that mean?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's why I started this podcast, to go after that kind of mentality. I like it's produced, but it's not radio friendly. You know what I mean? Like, why does it
Yeah.
have to be a certain quality? Why does it have to sound like everything else?
It doesn't.
So when's your next record then? Sorry, I told you I was going to tease you about coming out with new stuff, and I can't wait for you to.
I have all the songs. It's just
Really? Oh, cool. Okay. Then I won't push any more. But if you want to give this podcast an exclusive, soon. This crowd is going to go crazy for
heckled.
that new record. Yeah, you are. Welcome to Berwick, the friendliest heckling town in all of Nova Scotia.
Make an album. Do it.
We want more music. On that note, why don't you play them another song? Do you want to pick one?
Sure. Well, it's not a new one, but how about I'll play the title track off of my first album, which is Flesh and Bone.
Yay.
He grabbed his robe to the station, got the bottom line. Find your place, find your patience. This is a test of time. A warning came the dawn before. Oh, wars are coming. Batten your hatch and close the door. Don't you let it in. He laid a path over the hard snow where not a foot had pressed. He said, farewell, my dear companion, as he cleared his chest. And flesh and bone, I love you. And flesh and bone, I'm going. He lit a fire, kettle boiling, built a bed of boughs. Love, I hear you calling. I'm gonna figure this out. And flesh and bone, I need you. And flesh and bone, I'm coming. A warning came the dawn before. Oh, wars are coming. Batten your hatch and close the door. Don't you let it in. It's flesh and bone, I need you. Flesh and bone, flesh and bone, I love you. And flesh and bone, I'm coming.
That's a good title track for a record. That's a strong tune to have on a record, man. That's one of those rockers, too, that was like, ooh, yeah, there's some grit to this record. And Jesse goes crazy on that song.
Oh yeah, that song goes another like 2 minutes at the end if you'd let him. But yeah, no, that was my pandemic song. I wrote that, like I was saying, I think in May, and we started recording in July. But it was really kind of ruminating on that idea of wanting to be with people in the flesh, and yeah, that's kind of where that song came from.
It's interesting that you started on piano with the 90s songbook, because I do pick up on like a lot of this. I'm reminded in your music of all of my favorite stuff from the 90s, even like your guitar work, and like there's some really nostalgic feeling in there. Who did it for you back then?
I love that. I mean, I was a Lilith Fair girl.
Really? Like all the records?
To a certain
too?
degree. I started out, listening to like all the Women in Songs albums. Remember you could get like 12 CDs for a penny?
Yeah, and there was like 10 women in song, weren't there?
Yeah, so I listened to a lot of like Sarah Harmer, Sarah McLachlan, Jewel. But I did get into some grittier stuff too. I kind of...
No doubt.
No doubt, definitely, no doubt.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I just called that out of nowhere, but that really...
No doubt. They were gritty. Yeah.
Why are you like, no, there's an audience, for those listening in the world, there's an audience member saying, were they gritty? And I can't tell if you're genuinely asking or if you're asking like, that's gritty to you? Because at the time,
you call
it was
them
like
gritty.
ska. Yeah, it was like white kids playing ska
Yeah,
in
No
LA.
Doubt was one of the first like strong female leads, and she wore like crop tops and had her hair in pigtails and was definitely rock and roll. So
Compared to
I
Jewel,
had
I
a
guess.
poster of Gwen Stefani in my room.
Nice.
Yeah.
Which album?
Good question.
Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Either way, it was an up close with her hair being
Yeah.
all ridiculous. And
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Lilith Fair, Women in Song, No Doubt is in there. How
No
gritty
Doubt
did
is
you
in
get?
there. Our Lady Peace was like one of my favorites.
Oh, yeah.
Alanis Morissette was the first live show that I went to, and she had a huge impact on me for sure. I feel like she sings from the heart.
Were you at that concert singing along, or were you just
Oh, yeah.
awestruck? Wow, yeah,
Yeah,
you were
I
that
had-
kind of fan, eh? Sweet.
I went with a group of girls, and we were all.
How
Yeah,
old are you at
rocking
this
out.
point then, if you don't mind me asking?
I was probably 13 at that point.
Awesome age to go to an Alanis show. Wow.
Looking back, I think it had an influence.
This is
yeah.
on the Jagged Little Pill tour?
Yes.
Holy smokes, cool.
Yeah.
You didn't go when she did like the 25th anniversary or whatever recently, did you?
No, I wish.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Were you you weren't like a Shania person, were you?
Like secondhand. I was with people who are heavy Shania Twain.
Thank you.
fans.
That's the best answer you could have given me. Okay, moving on. I just wanted to get that out of the way. Don't worry, I'm going to have Shania on this show at the end of the year, I think. So, no, she wishes. She wishes.
Not from Nova Scotia.
Yeah, they don't have to be from Nova Scotia to be on the show. Shania's going to break all the rules, guys, as she always has. I'm so glad you guys got the joke. Okay, so to me, Jewel, like that was really wonderful music too back then. That was very soothing music.
Soothing but weird, which I appreciated. Like she writes some weird songs.
Were you into Tracy Chapman back then?
Yes.
I could. There's guitar voicings. Yes. Kudos to Tracy Chapman. Yeah,
But
there's some guitar voicings
I have
you do
to
that
say,
I like that.
my guitar playing has come along in the last couple of years. I used to just be a strummer. In fact, I played a show at, speaking of the North earlier, I played a show in a snow castle
Oh, where?
in Yellowknife. Every year, and every March, they have a festival in a snow castle.
Cool.
And I was playing in a band at the time, and I remember vividly there was someone in the front row watching me play, and I could see her mouth move. She's just strumming the guitar.
How do you deal with that?
I was like, yeah, I'm strumming the guitar
Like everybody else in this room.
like everyone else. But anyways, that kind of like was motivation, I guess, to keep playing the guitar in that moment. But I'm not sure. That story just popped into my mind. What were we talking about?
No, it was
Oh,
yeah,
guitar
ask me about your
playing.
guitar playing and stuff.
Tracy.
Yeah. Yeah, like with your guitar playing, did you never learn Blackbird or any of those like weird standards to learn or?
Oh yeah, I learned Blackbird.
Oh, okay. So that's where you get some of those voicings that you were doing, and because even Skin and Bone has some nice chord voicings, or Flesh and Bone, sorry.
Yeah, Jesse is a good teacher. He shows me some different things to consider with guitar playing.
When did you start playing guitar then?
I was 16 when I started playing guitar, and mostly Jewel covers at the time.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
That's awesome. Wow. You really?
Pieces of You. Oh my gosh, I wish I could bust that out.
Really? Do you have a single Jewel cover in your back pocket though?
No, I'm going to go home and practice.
Nice.
So that I do, yeah.
Yeah, it's. I mean, God, there's so many artists from back then that you could just spend the rest of your life learning all of their songs and then becoming a Jewel cover artist, you know. But you should just do your own thing. Your songs are so much better than hers. Yeah.
Go your own way.
Yeah. Sorry, did someone just request "Go Your Own Way" by Fleetwood Mac? Yeah, I would love to hear one more song that I would love to request. And I feel like is this a northern song? Highway Woman?
Ooh,
Where did you write?
someone knows it. This is not a northern song, actually. This is a Nova Scotia song. I wrote this song after coming across a poem from 1895, so there's no more copyright rules attached to it.
Good.
But it's called Calf Path. So it's about this idea of a calf taking a walk across the grass and then another cow following that path. You know how on the fields you see the cow paths, because they all, once one starts, they all just keep following the same path.
I swear some of the roads in Nova Scotia were built off of cow
This
paths.
is what the poem is about.
Oh,
Is how
cool.
roads were then formed based
Oh my
on cow
God.
paths.
That explains Halifax's ridiculous road maps.
But it also goes on to talk about how that's kind of how humans function. By once someone starts doing something one way, we just continue doing it that way because that's how it was done. And even our brains, are designed, once we start doing something one way, it's just easier for our brains to keep doing things the same way.
Dangerous.
The road of least resistance, exactly.
Dangerous.
So that's what started this song, but then I wanted to write about someone who went their own way, created their own path. So I finished
bold
writing
path.
this song on a napkin while watching the Basin Brothers play.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I feel like the Basin Brothers half inspired this song too.
I love that. They're in the ether.
Yeah.
She set out as the sun came up, her baby fast asleep. Put a Blue Ridge in the truck, she said, I gotta leave. This house we built ashore is fine, our life is just same. She said, you know I love you, but the road's been calling me. Some men are prone to go blind along the calf paths of their mind. They work all day from sun to sun, doing what the others have done. But she is prone to be free, says this path don't bother me. She danced for $1, danced for a dime, to get her next fix of those white lines. She was highway woman who fell in love with the open road. Calico Queen, Calamity Jane, hero of the plains. Gravel kicked a cloud of dust, the sky turned red to blue. She told me she'd be back again, but back then she never knew. She was a highway woman who fell in love with the open road. Jane, hero of the plains. She was a highway woman who fell in love with the open road. Calico Queen, Calamity Jane, hero the highway woman who fell in love with the open road. Calico Queen, Calamity Jane, hero of the plains, hero of the plains, hero of the plains.
Yeah. You guys are the best. Wow.
Great audience, right? That's why I love doing this show.
Yeah.
That's like a heavy song too. There is a grit in that song to me, but it's beautiful too. You make everything seem peaceful. Like we've been talking about everything that you do and how busy you are, but what do you do for fun? What makes you tick?
I mean, music is a big part of that, but I have a family. I have
Yeah.
little ones that make me tick.
Yeah.
Yeah, they keep me busy. Exactly.
Yes,
Yeah, they
they're-
keep me motivated for sure. No, I'm trying to slow down more and find peace in less. So I go for big long walks every day.
Are you sort
In
of a
the woods.
mindfulness person? Is mindfulness?
Yeah,
factor
it's
in your life?
something in the last few years that's become very important to me for sure.
Do you do mindful walks?
Yeah. I think
I
if we
knew
have the
someone
same
who did-
definition, sometimes I walk and listen to music, but sometimes I walk and just am quiet, and I often do the same loop every day. So
Right.
I love just noticing the differences every day, like especially this winter it's been so bizarre where there's, 5 inches of snow and then the next day it's completely melted, and I love just seeing how the landscape changes from day to day.
Beautiful.
So I think that counts as mindfulness, but
Yeah. I just know somebody who would do mindful walks, and they would think about every single step they took, and
Wow.
it showed while they were walking, because it would probably take like 25 minutes to walk 10 steps, the equivalent of the average person's stride. Like,
Wow.
it was interesting to watch, but that was deep mindfulness, and I'd never seen it on that level before.
wow, that is next level.
But yeah, walking your same path every day, that's your calf path, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, and
You-
I think part of that is just kind of like reconnecting with the self. I've realized part of my journey over the last little while is realizing how we all have been conditioned to be quite disconnected from ourselves. So part of it is just, trying to really feel what's going on inside, and
And like you guys have a great community down there, so I'm sure you get a lot of social time with other people.
Oh yeah.
But do you feel like you need that time for yourself too a lot of the time?
Absolutely.
Interesting.
Yeah, I need lots of alone time, but also I need lots of active time. And like you say, a lot of the community in Avondale is very active. So a lot of what I do for fun is with the community. We live right near the Avon River Heritage Museum. Woo! Never thought I would be super enthusiastic about museums, but here we are.
It's such a cool place.
It's really cool, and my good friend Tasha is the manager, and she's an exceptional artist in her own right, but she's always planning really cool events for artists and trying to bring activity to the neighborhood. So I love supporting her when I can, and there's just all kinds of characters that bring that town to life.
Yeah, it is a really vibrant community, I gotta say. It felt sort of like when I dipped into Avondale for the first time, it reminded me a little bit of the Yukon and just the vibe up there of, there's sort of this runaway community, it almost seems, but they're runaways who ran away to just peaceful lives and beautiful countryside. And it's not runaways, it's just people who want to good life and good living. It's such a cool vibe.
Exactly. People who want a community.
Yes.
Like,
first
there's
and
a
foremost.
real sense of people looking out for each other and creating their own fun. This year, we hosted the first ever Homegrown Harvest Fest.
Oh, I have wanted so badly to come out to that. Yes. Explain to the world what the Homegrown Harvest Fest was.
So there's a number of people in Avondale that grow their own
Cannabis. You can say that word now.
Yeah, right. So several people grow their own cannabis, and there's been talk about how we should have this event where everyone brings their plants and we can compare them somehow. And finally, someone took the lead and made it happen. So, yeah, everyone brought their flowers.
Amazing. There was like
And
bowls of different strains.
People had the opportunity to try the different strains. There was live music.
Such a good idea. Who played?
Those peop-
Who got to play the Homegrown
The cool
Harvest
part
Bowl?
is that it was mostly local people. That's the other thing is there's tons of musicians in Avondale. So the Basin Brothers played. I played. Linda McLean,
Oh, the author.
the author and
And artist.
creative and artist, played.
Cool.
And then the Avondalians played as well.
Amazing. What a crazy lineup.
It was a lot of fun.
Wow. How did you
I
guys play a full
will
show
say
like that? So
that,
stoned.
Yeah. Next time, I would recommend trying all the flavors after you play music.
Yeah. Jesus. It's like playing at Willie Nelson's house or something. That's
Yeah.
crazy. Oh, wow. What a cool event to have in your local community hall, too. I think that's maybe we'll set a standard for that on the podcast. I think we have to have an outdoor tasting episode.
Yeah.
Is it so we can be invited?
Yeah, that's a
Ooh.
good question. Maybe we'll have to do it up in Harborville.
When was it? It was in October, the beginning of October.
Ooh, is it going to happen again this year?
I believe it will.
Ooh, Avondale is the place to be.
Yep.
My God.
Also, in June in Avondale is the Full Circle Music Festival.
Free advertisement for the Full Circle Festival. Yeah, well, we could definitely talk about this. I can't
Yeah.
wait for Full Circle.
Again, so this is a music festival that takes place right in Avondale. And as I mentioned, my husband grew up there. And when we moved back from Yellowknife, he just could not believe that there was a music festival happening
In the
where he
backyard.
played soccer as a kid. It blew his mind. But it's a really lovely event. And
Always a great lineup. And it's around summer solstice, right?
yep, always right around summer solstice. So it's a good way to kick off the summer.
It really is. And I've seen a couple different years of different weather there, and the vibe is so positive no matter what the weather. Such good people, such great bands.
Yeah, it's a fun time.
Beautiful location, too. So what's your role in Full Circle?
Well, I now coordinate it.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Louise, who was just here, was the original founder of it. It was founded in 2009 as a way of bringing artists together. It was really a festival for musicians to create a space for each other to play with one another, and it's just kind of grown from there. So she handed the baton to me in 2020.
Yeah. Good luck, kid.
Yeah. But last year was the first year we were back.
to the Titanic.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
It's not the Titanic. I'm just kidding.
No, last year was the first year where it was fully back to scale, and it was wonderful.
Oh, that's so awesome. It was really a brilliant festival. If you're listening out in the world and you're planning on coming to Nova Scotia, visit in June and come out to Full Circle Festival because it's just crazy. It's so beautiful, great people again. Again, a great lineup. I'm not going to force you to give away any exclusive details, even though that's what this podcast is all about. The exclusive, rare content.
I don't.
For the listener at home, I just stared Kim down for 30 seconds, but no, not a dime, not a dime.
don't think
of
I'm at liberty to
information.
say at this point. but
That's okay,
Keep your
that's
eye
okay.
out for announcements in the next few weeks.
I'll make announcements on the podcast too, leading up to it. I might as well.
The next
I'm
few
gonna-
weeks.
I'm just going to keep advertising for Full Circle Festival. I will. I'll just keep doing it right now. And other festivals, actually. I am open to sponsorship. I should say that right now. But enough about me. Kim, I've really loved having you here. And
I've loved being here. Thank you.
I want to do it again. I want to do another episode with you for sure. And I can't wait for your second album. Maybe we'll chat when you come out with your next album.
Deal.
which has, the audience is yelling Sue. Table 1, take it easy.
Seriously.
What's our last song gonna be?
Ooh. Are we there? Are we there yet?
Yeah, let's do it. How do you want to say goodnight?
Are there any Geminis in the room? No Geminis.
No Gemini. Wow, that seems strange. Are you a Gemini?
I am a Gemini.
So
Which
you
I
wrote
think
an
is part of
anthem?
the reason why I'm into so many different things. I get bored really easily and have a lot of different passions.
That's just called ADHD, actually. Yeah.
I hide under the stars. I blame the stars for it.
Yeah. As we have for thousands of years. Carry on.
But yeah, no, this song is called Gemini, and it's not necessarily about me, but yeah, it kind of is.
You felt Geminis needed an anthem, and you wanted to say, I could do this.
Yeah.
Well, I really do want to say thank you. It's such a pleasure talking to you. I can't wait to see the future of the music you come out with and all the shows that you should be playing. So everybody out there listening, everybody out there in the audience, book Kim a bunch of shows, get her on the road. Go back, let's get her back out to Yellowknife and out west. I think you should definitely... Yes, Nova Scotia is so lucky to have you. So thanks for coming.
I hung my heart like a sheet on the breeze. Lay it all out in the crook of your sleeve. You said, buck up, baby, surely this should come as no surprise. So long, Gemini. I ran my fingers through the loops in your name. No birthday greetings ever felt quite the same. Memories are seeping like the ink upon my skin. Move on, Gemini. Oh, diamond dust and crystal rain. I've been mixing pleasure with my pain on the rocks again. Our eyes got caught in the grocery line. You took her hand like you once took mine. You tipped your hat and hid your chin in your coat's lapel. And you said, Gemini, farewell. Oh, diamond dust and crystal rain. I've been mixing pleasure with my pain on the rocks again. Of diamond dust and crystal rain, I've been mixing pleasure with my pain. On the rocks again, on the rocks again, on the rocks again.
Well, that's it, friends. That's the show for this month. Check out Kim's website in the show notes. That's kimjoylake.com. And be sure to check out her show at the Stage at St. Andrews in Halifax, as we mentioned, in early April. And otherwise, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.